And not to prolong the meeting any further. So, Madam
Oh, start the roll, Mayor.
Mayor Cantrell.
President,
Councilmember King. Director Barnes.
Present.
Director Duplessis. Director Markowitz. Director Guzman.
Present.
Director Pacho.
Here.
Director Sloss.
Here.
Director Howard.
Here.
Director Schulis.
Here.
Director Taylor. Mayor, we have a quorum.
very good. And so again, with time being of the essence, I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Sloss, seconded by Director Barnes. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, the minutes have been adopted. Ms. Yolanda.
We have the Executive Director's report. Gassan.
Mr. Corbin, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Mayor. Good morning, Board of Directors. Glad to be here, and thank you all for being here. I have a lengthy report for you today, but very, very proud report to share with you. But before we do that, I have a couple of people I want to introduce you to, or to introduce them to you. I'm going to start with our new Chief Audit Executive, Ed Sutherland, who is right here with us. He just started this week. He was introduced to the audit committee, and Ed brings us a vast amount of experience in the audit world, and he will hold a unique position relative to have a direct relationship with the board, with the audit committee, and specific to exercise his powers that he's been given to audit the utility as the board wishes. So he and I will be working collaboratively to make sure that his assignments get done the way he wants them to be done. So we're very, very proud and very excited. We finally have an auditor here in our utility, much needed position. So,
Absolutely, and it just speaks to the internal controls
Right.
and things that we want to have in place for our utility. So it's a good time. Welcome, and also let the record reflect Councilman King has joined the meeting.
The other person I'd love to introduce to you is our new Deputy General Superintendent, Steve Nelson, who just joined us. This is his third week. And I asked Steve to come up because he has a small assignment today. Actually, I should say big assignment. So he's the Deputy GSO, and he'll be responsible primarily for networks, GIR, engineering, and underlining networks. He's hit the ground running. He's been managing all the networks-related issues and trying to de-escalate a lot of the ongoing and current issues. So we're very proud to have him. He's going to be a huge help for Ron, who's been, juggling so many
times
tasks.
5.
Superman Ron. So
Welcome.
much needed help for Ron, so he can focus on what has become his passion, which is the power complex and operation. So you can see Ron smile probably for the first time in a while.
It's true.
So with that, I wanted to also take a moment, and we've been wanting to re-engage and start recognizing our folks that deserve to be recognized for good work, for doing special things, and making us proud. And today we have a very, very special case to share with you. I asked Steve to take the lead on that, and it has to do with Mr. Alvin Jackson, who works for Networks, who did something very special earlier this week, and we wanted to recognize him publicly. Steve is going to read the actual email that we received about Alvin from a resident who observed and recognized the good work that Alvin did. So
we appreciate you.
Yes, and once that happens, I will be presenting him with a coin, the Sewage and Water Board coin, for his awesome and proud work that he did earlier. So, Steve?
Gassan, thank you very much. Madam Mayor, Board, it's a pleasure to meet you all, and I'm more excited today at week 3.5 than I was day 1, which is probably real annoying to Ron, but I am really glad to be part of this organization. We do good work, we have good people, and I'm proud to be up here with Alvin today, and I wanted to share this email. Gassan received this, he passed it along, so I get a really pleasant first assignment here with the Board. This is from resident Miss Catherine, who wrote the following email. Hi, Gasson. I felt compelled to email you some words of praise today for the crew working on Josephine near Britannia. Around 9:15 a.m., I turned onto St. Andrew and noticed a little girl about 4 years old outside playing near the road unsupervised, wearing nothing but a diaper and a shirt. As a mom of 3 young children, all under 4, I was immediately concerned for her well-being. I called NOPD to have them come out to do a welfare check on the child. I drove away a couple blocks and then turned around because I wanted to make sure she didn't end up in the street. NOPD found her, etc. And as I approached the site again in my car, I observed your employee, Alvin Jackson, helping to reunite the frantic mother with his child. I talked to him and your crew on Josephine for a couple minutes after this happened, and he said he saw her in a couple different locations, kept an eye on her, and when the mom came running out of her home frantically, he was able to lead her to the child. He had such a warm personality, and he did exactly the right thing. As a mom, I worry all the time about all the things that can go wrong for my young children in the Lower Garden District. I have a child in the age of this age range, and they do wild things. Getting hit by a car on our busy streets, strange people who don't have the kid's best interest in mind, etc. And I was so grateful to see this man show such care for this child and ensure she didn't end up in harm's way. The city would be better off if we had more people like him, and so I wanted to pass along my praise and hope that you get a chance to share it with his supervisor and someone acknowledges his actions this morning in some small way. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Yep, you represent the city very well and absolutely this utility. Thank you so much. Keep shining.
But I have goosebumps.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so what we're going to do today, Madam Mayor, is we're going to have a state of the utility report for you, and much of what you're going to see, you've heard through the constant communication that we do during our monthly meetings, but we think capturing all of the accomplishments and future goals in one document is worthy and hopefully will make all of us proud on behalf of obviously the men and women of the department. So I have the clicker. Do I have control? There you go. There we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to quick year in review, highlighting the major accomplishments. We're going to give you a snapshot of 2022 in numbers, just some detailed. Again, this is not a report for a committee, but just an overarching accomplishments and snapshot of what we've done. And then we'll finish with 2023 priorities, making sure that we are all aligned in the direction we're going. The theme, hopefully, that you will gain is that we are heading in the right direction and there's progress being made and progress will continue to be made. And most of the accomplishments that you're going to see are somewhat, in one way or shape or form, are driven by, this is not working, so yeah, let's just say next, have been driven by the strategic plan that was developed last year. So 2022 year in review, again, major highlights. We're starting with the strategic plan as building a foundation for everything that we do, obviously on your behalf and on behalf of the customers. The board's engagement and leadership truly influenced the product itself and how we adopted it and how we're implementing that plan. So truly thankful for all of you for taking a serious role in developing a meaningful 5-year plan for us. The next project that is worth highlighting, obviously, the power complex, the groundbreaking took place in 2022. Work has been progressing nicely since. As a matter of fact, Ron just informed me last night that the substation piling work was just completed. 327 piles were done with no issues whatsoever. And piles typically present some issues, you know, what you may encounter, whether you have to adjust the depth or what have you, adding cost and such, but that went very seamlessly, and obviously thanks in great part to the preparation that took place of the site.
And not a lot of disruption in the community. Normally you hear a lot,
Right.
especially with
Yeah.
driving piles.
We took a proactive role in informing the neighbors, warning them about what to expect, and I think that paid a huge dividend. You know, having a person to go to and share concerns. So,
Yeah.
so the progress will continue. The next set of piles will be sometime in May. That would be mostly for holding the utility rack that we will be installing subsequent to this work. So great progress, and we're on a good trajectory with that project. As you all know, the smart meter program was launched. We have a vendor. As a matter of fact, today and tomorrow we're going to be focusing a lot on SOPs, just basically charting the path of actual implementation. So it's happening as we speak. So very, very exciting. We had tried something new by reaching out to the employees, sharing the project with them, gaining insight, so they become our advocates in the community talking about that project. Relative to wastewater treatment plant, specifically on the East Bank, that plant is an old plant and requires a lot of work. To be honest with you, it requires a total replacement, but you know, with funding limited, we are being very thoughtful and methodical about what to fix and what to repair. We've so far identified $11.5 million in projects, again, focusing on the most fragile, most critical pieces throughout in order to allow us to continue to convey and treat water and return it safely to the environment. Again, it's a very, very critical project. As you know, Ida hit that plant
Yes.
last year, and we've recovered very nicely and continue to recover. A very awesome project that many of you probably have seen it take place for probably a couple of years along Claiborne. It's finally done and operational, and what that means from the drinking water provision and introducing it to the distribution system is a milestone. The fact that we have the 2 towers and now we have 4 new pumps with variable speed allow us the flexibility to adjust in case of any loss of power or even a pump, because the 3 pumps because of the variable speed will be able to compensate for a lost power for one, for example. So very, very exciting, and much is needed to be done in the drinking water, and we'll talk a little bit more, but that was a very, very critical project, and we're so happy that it's fully completed.
Well, and I have to add, Gassan, on the national level, and here recently being in DC with mayors across the country, Veolia highlighted the Sewage and Water Board, its investments that we've made relative to drinking water, but our utility across the board. You know, like me, here recently, just being reminded what's happening to other municipalities across the country. Now New Orleans is looked upon as doing the right thing and being that example. We have to own that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And obviously it needs to be said that we have very, very competent and professionals who are managing these projects successfully. In this case, Chris Bergeron, who managed that project for Ron. And if you, I'm sure many of you have visited that site. It's very complex, very complicated project, and it went very smoothly. And again, a milestone project for us. Continue to the year in review here. We introduced the 2 key positions that we just hired. Again, you know, without people, you can't advance efforts, initiatives, and we are blessed to be able to attract talent, people who are willing to be part of a legacy and a mission and sometimes I call it a cause. You know, we're trying to do awesome things for the city, and the more talent we can bring on the team, obviously, the better our chances. So we're very excited for having those two additions on our team. We are very close to selecting a vendor for revamping our financial system upgrade. Gray is managing that project, and I know he chopping at the bit to get into negotiation mode and get a new system in place that is going to improve efficiency and how we do business inside out relative to dealing with our vendors, monitoring costs, tracking, and just project control. So it's wonderful, again, accomplishment, and we're very, very close to that. Continuing, sharing some detailed assessment of many, many other fronts that we've touched on. We're going to start with the improved drinking water reliability, and we talked about the pump station, the water towers, or water hammers, that have been crucial in allowing us to have zero citywide precautionary boiled water advisory. I do hear it from people now. It's like, oh, we haven't had boiled water.
Exactly. In a while.
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's just intentional, methodical. It was by design.
That's right.
And nothing is an accident here.
That's right.
We do acknowledge that we've had few here and there that due to accidents, a contractor hitting a main, somebody driving through and busting out a hydrant where you lose pressure in that localized area, and then we respond and manage those. So
When we came in here, there were several a week, it seemed,
Yeah.
So
Oh,
progress.
I remember meeting with business owners or hotel operators saying, this is killing us. It costs us money when you call a boil water advisory. And this is
Good.
awesome place to be. In terms of water quality, obviously we're producing an enormous amount of water, 58 billion gallons of drinking water to our customers. And we have to do a lot of testing and sampling and monitoring to make sure that that water is safe and healthy for our customers. And obviously we've accomplished that day in and day out. And we pay attention to lead in the water, and we proactively help folks test the lead levels in their drinking water to make sure that they take precautionary measures to protect themselves and their children in the households. When it comes to the sewer system, obviously we are in consent decree, so we're in an intense mode, so to speak. Our response time is measured, quantified, and had to be reported. We've responded to 8,500 work orders relative to any sewer chokes, backups, whatever the case may be. We've cleaned 180 miles of, we've lined. We cleaned 180 miles, which is a lot of miles for sewers, and inspected 175 of them. When it comes to the consent decree projects, replacing sewer or lining sewers funded by WIFIA, we have 5 ongoing projects moving on, so we are on track to satisfy the consent decree by 2025. Again, that's not a small feat, and the creative funding that we've managed to bring is allowing us to, again, continue on the right track. When it comes to JR projects, as you know, there are many out there, and we are part of most of them that you see in partnership with the city. We've done about 26 miles of water distribution mains. Again, it's a good start, not enough, but it's an awesome place to be in terms of 1 mile at a time. And our job is to, once that project is done, the JRR program is done and the funding, that we would continue that pace. So, because as you all know, our mains are old and need to be replaced. Independent of the JRR, we did, under the same funding, we did 2.25 miles of transmission mains. These are the large mains that come out of the plant and feed into the distribution mains. And then we've done almost 4 miles of sewer mains throughout the city. In terms of power, this should not come as a surprise to you. I guess the one note to mention here is that we had decommissioned T1 last year with your approval. That was a thoughtful approach, basically assessing what it costs to keep that turbine running versus spending the funding toward modernizing, and obviously that's the direction we went. And the one thing that is very key to point out here on the right, at any given day last year, in the worst day, we had more capacity to produce power over what the peak demand would have been. So the worst case would have been, roughly about 55, and the best case was about 80. So that's why we would sit here and say we're on solid ground, we're good, we have the pumping ability, we have the power capacity, and that's because of all these turbines and frequency changers and EMDs being online, ready to serve. One mission of ours is to keep layering on the level of service and protection of our city in terms of flooding. It's not just the gray infrastructure, but green infrastructure is a much needed tool to help elevate the service level to our community. We're very proud of the fact that the city has a green infrastructure at a much larger scale, but we feel that we are a utility that need to do green infrastructure projects, and these are examples of projects that allow us to hold water where it falls and capture water from adjacent streets, diverting it from canals and giving the pumping stations a break, so to speak. The middle picture, the Bayou St. John Green Infrastructure, is a wonderful project. It's about to be completed. We will do a ribbon cutting probably within a month. It's an awesome place where we transformed a lot that we own because we have utilities underneath from a parking lot. People would just abuse it and park on it. Mm-hmm. And now we have created amenities and a destination for the neighborhood to come and enjoy beautiful sitting arrangement. We have a wall that people can sit on. There's a lot of beautiful shrubbery and trees, and just a healthy place to be, and like the mayor says, living with water. This is a great example of us allowing the community to enjoy what used to be just a trashed parking lot. We continue to reach out as much as we can to our community and educate them on all things sewage and water board, but and specifically what they can do to help us manage flooding and water during events. Obviously, customer service had been one of our top priorities with a new highlighted department headed by Renee, a difference maker, obviously looking at a lot of key numbers. And the one thing I'm going to point out here is that we're heading in the right direction on all fronts. The one thing, obviously, is that the KPIs that Renee had created for his department have not been met yet, as you all know, but we're certainly trending toward that. I'm not going to point anything specific other than it's all, again, positive. On the right, that's a reflection of the need in our communities. We have 12,000 payment plans. We've reach out to folks and beg them to connect with us and enter into a payment plan to make us whole and to be in good standing. And as a result, we have currently 12,000 payment plans. So meeting people where they are.
Well, and I would just add, with the citywide amnesty program, we were able to push over 3,000 customers into payment arrangements just from that amnesty program. So that was huge, and more than 32,000 in sewage and water board late fees were satisfied or forgiven to our customers. So again, it all matters. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And average cash collections, have gone up to 22.3 million. And let me tell you, compared to 2021, it was 19 million. So progress. You know,
And on behalf of our customers who had significant arrears or outstanding bills, we were able to capture a little bit over $3 million in two separate programs. They were one-time deals, so to speak, and allow us to, again, bring $3 million to the utility, but also on behalf of customers, reducing or eliminating their bills that they owe us. Obviously, that's an area that we need to continue to focus on and find a more sustainable long-term program for our customers. Continue with the elevated customer service on the field or networks front. 11,800 water work orders were closed. I mean, that's a tremendous amount. You can't drive anywhere without encountering a leak somewhere, and obviously we're constantly responding to old ones, and new ones unfortunately continue to develop. So it's a major challenge for us, but we are making significant headway in terms of reducing backlogs and trying to keep up with the aging infrastructure that we have. When it comes to billing, as you all know, we've started a newer approach to reading our meters by splitting the population into two halves, reading each half once a month, and we have achieved 95% reading each of the halves. So in 2 months, we're able to read 95% of the entire population, about 140,000 meters. That's hadn't been done in a long time. We're hoping, every 2 months we're gonna be more solid with the numbers, and all the issues associated with estimates will hopefully diminish, if not go away. This is a temporary or interim solution that we came up with as we transition to smart meters. So we just couldn't have people wait 2 or 3 more years with the agony of what estimates and whatever we cause them to continue. So we're very excited about the final product of this effort. And in the bottom, 18% fewer bill disputes. Again, for last quarter is a tremendous victory for us and for our customers, obviously. In terms of funding, obviously we haven't had rate increase in 2 years, so we've been managing the same or more with the same amount of funding or diminished value, to be honest with you. But we're able to find money where we haven't found it before. Pointing out the amount of money we've generated with the fair share, Mayor, when it started, who knew? And it's been a tremendous source of funding for us, allowing us to, confidently start projects that are so critical, such as the AMI or smart meter and other projects. So it's been a game changer for us. Capital outlay, again, a lot of efforts and a lot of lobbying to allow us to get almost $80 million to allow us to fund the power system that we're creating. We've brought $16 million from HUD, specific to one of our turbines, and then obviously the WIFIA loan, which allowed us to save $100 million in debt service if we had gone the traditional way.
That's right. And I'll add the $15 million of the one-time American Rescue Plan dollars, second tranche, fought tirelessly for direct allocation, got it,
Absolutely.
put it forward, the council passed it. So this is moving along.
Absolutely,
it's worth it.
absolutely. All in all, $52 million from the city to allow the project to continue and progress. So we can be more thankful. Obviously, connecting with our community, our customers, is crucial, is a priority, and we do everything we can to interact with our community and any opportunity we're given. You invite us, we will be there. Um, we have as you know, customer advisory committee. That's a smaller committee that allow community members to come and freely speak their minds and learn more about us, and then again go back in the community and share the good work we're doing, and also bring us concerns on behalf of the community. So it's been a very good way to communicate and interact with the community. And I mean, you see the other numbers, all fronts. And you all know we hosted one of the most successful WEFTEC event. A lot of rave reviews on that. A lot of people love the city, and we're looking forward to having them back in 2 years. So 20,000 people come to the city, not to mention spouses and people who build up on that visit with families and what have you. Focus on safety. We're not where we want to be, but we have made huge strides in that arena with, Dave Callahan and his team initiated a new safety program in 2019, and we're seeing the fruit of that effort, imposing or self-imposing some requirements that are we're not subject to, but we kind of took it upon ourselves to adopt OSHA as the standard training for our employees, and we're progressing in that direction. 51% is a good number, but obviously we want to be at much higher number than that. So we continue to push hard in that arena. Couple major priorities to share with you as we continue the positive momentum on your behalf and behalf of our customers. Obviously, the smart meter installation, now the hard work begins, right, in terms of implementing it in the most efficient, effective way, interacting with the public and rolling it out one phase at a time to start enjoying the benefit of that program. A lot of work went into the planning, and like I said, this week it's gonna be a lot of major standard operating procedures for how we're gonna hit the ground running, basically. So very exciting. Part of
I guess that's just so gigantic. It's such a pain point.
obviously we're gonna enjoy the top of the line technology with that program, adding a lot of features to it to help our customers with a new online portal that has a lot of features in terms of customized alerts. You set your own threshold, you get messages. If there's a leak, it will tell us. We don't have to wait, the water doesn't have to surface. We will know that there's a leak, and then we can attend to it. And what's key is that we have also a feature that we chose to use on specific meters that would tell us if a meter had been tampered with immediately.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
It's
I
huge.
mean,
It's huge.
it's gonna help with communication to
Everything.
people, customer service, operation effectiveness. We're gonna save money on it. I mean, across the board.
Yeah.
Congratulations! It
Sure.
really is a big deal. We
Thank
should
you.
celebrate.
Yeah.
People don't
Congrats.
realize. They don't realize this is huge.
So
Yeah.
the other thing in going around, I've been fortunate enough to go to a couple employee rollouts of this and just sort of see how it's explained to the masses. And the thing that I think got the biggest response is that the customer screen and our employee screen are going to look the same.
Exactly.
So I cannot overstate how important it is
Huge.
for you to feel like you're seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what that thing on the right there at
Yes.
the top, and it's like there's no thing on the right on my screen,
Yes.
and it all goes to the side. And I think these sorts of things, as we move forward, we really need to go out of our way to speak how well this is going to impact regular people, because I don't know that regular folks get this. It just sounds very aspirational.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, I think that
Very real now.
And
that
it's
this
very
is-
real.
this
Are
is
you
it's
kidding?
happening right now.
That's it.
And the other thing is that it's something that came from direct response to our consumer concerns.
Mhm.
So it did two things. It's making the system better, and it's being responsive to people who have really felt like they haven't been heard.
Yeah.
And I think it's a real missed opportunity if we don't underscore those two things as we move forward, because this really does that.
Yeah, and making those tough decisions to have the resources to get here. Right. That's the game changer. And this is where partnerships really make all the difference, when we are acknowledging the progress every step. Councilman, this is where the council comes in. You know, and partnering with this utility, you cannot make this up. It's real. But when our people see, again, fractions, it hurts us all. No one wins.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
No one.
Yeah, I'll say another thing. All of the accomplishments that you're presenting here are not a product of a couple of days. It's years
Yes.
in the making.
Yes.
And I'm very happy that we're finally having something that the public, including my family, can finally see the progress, because it takes fundraising, it takes operational strategy. I mean, there's a lot of work, and it's been years and years of work to finally get to something like
Yeah,
this.
absolutely. And it can be overemphasized. It takes good people who want to do good work. I mean, in this case, I can't name them all, but the project manager, Becca Johnsey, who out of nowhere, this project landed in her lap, and she just embraced it and just became an expert.
Leadership
Yeah,
matters.
it's
I mean,
awesome.
lightning years.
So again,
Excited.
it takes good people who can execute, and we couldn't be more proud of the folks we have advancing projects like that. Pavement repairs, obviously top priority. Again, we have so many top priorities. It's a crowded field up at top, but we have made an exerted effort to put more resources toward pavement replacement, owning the cuts that we create. We have two contractors who help us. Our staff had been tremendous in the production of how many cuts they have done, and I'm hoping we're going to bring you those numbers in short time, maybe next month or the one after, showing you the progress we've made internally, and with doubling the resources. Obviously, it takes leadership, it takes recognition, and listening to our customers. And the partnership matters, and the city is coming strong with $8.3 million to, cut the backlog that exists. And the hope is that project will take care of 1,200 locations throughout the city.
1,200 repairs this year alone. That backlog, as Gassan said, is the priority, which is aligned with this money.
Right.
But also my directive to my team is get as many contractors on the job as possible.
Right.
Now that we fought for the resources, we have them, hire up, get the program, the augmentation together. So
Right.
It's happening.
If a customer has a problem in front of their house, how do they know whether it's, we're now, city, as I understand, is doing some repairs, and sewage and water board is doing some repairs.
Right.
So how do they find out who is responsible for?
No,
what's
it's a
going on?
joint effort. We're in this literally together. It's about rendering.
Is it
the work.
managed in a common place for the customer?
It's on the DPW side.
So the city is doing cuts for us, not their own. So just as an added resource, they have the
Okay.
money.
So if someone has a problem, they come through the sewage and water.
Right, and we will
contact.
decipher. Yeah, we're able to decipher whether this is a city location or our own location.
Okay.
Yeah, we have that delineated.
Exactly, and that's where the coordination is in place with DPW and the utility.
Thank you.
So by the end of this year, we will be in much better place relative to these cuts that obviously bother a lot of us as we drive. With a lot of priorities that we created last couple of years, we're bringing one to the forefront, which is the drinking water. And we talked about the pumping ability, the water towers. I think the key now is to focus on the treatment itself, how we purify water, and the technology and the ability to meet requirements that's coming around the corner that will elevate the standards and what we have to capture through our filtration and purification. So we have to anticipate and we have to get ahead of that. And you're gonna hear more and more this year about water, drinking water, and all the efforts we have to do. Obviously, the big challenge is funding, but if we don't talk about it in an urgent matter, we're not gonna capture the attention, and neither will capture funding. So again, you're gonna probably hear that monthly from us in terms of updates and where we are. So very excited, major challenge, but if we don't do it, no one else will. And finally, I'm gonna finish with a very key initiative that we're gonna push very hard for, and it's the people plan, with much of guidance from the board, telling us to create. We are a unique utility, one water utility. We are not like any other agency, and we need our own HR world. So this effort will hopefully result in meaningful alternatives to what we have now. So not only the board, but each and every employee will look at and assess and determine, are we better off staying where we are, or are we better off moving somewhere that has a better work environment, more incentives, higher pay, all the maybe better things that we have the flexibility to create independently. So we're very, very excited about that. We are in the process of putting the RFP on the street with the help of GNOF, because of the private dollars that are supporting that effort. And again, we're gonna push that forward and bring you hopefully a product by the end of the year, so we can collectively evaluate and go from there.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, the whole idea is to create an inspired, motivated, well-structured, and accountable workforce, instead of trying to eliminate so many of the roadblocks that consume an incredible amount of management
Absolutely.
times that could be spent on dealing with other other problems.
I presume this will involve significant employee involvement.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have an internal steering committee that I should have mentioned that, this will be owned by the employees, and the employees don't want it. At the end of the day, it's not going to happen. It cannot happen. And most of them are going to be here for years. So it's their interest that we have in heart here. And if they don't want change, the change is not going to happen. This is not something you can force.
Right.
It's something that will be desired and sought by them, and then we will help them find this alternative. So
it'll have to be a win for everybody.
Absolutely. So we believe that this will generate a positive outcome. So with that concludes my report. I hope it brings some pride, and I couldn't be more proud of my team and advancing all the important initiatives on behalf of the customers. So
Oh, thank you,
A lot of
Ghassan.
accomplishments.
Thank you very much. And I will just add that we did this month receive the $7 million of reimbursements from FEMA, $2 million aligned with COVID, and then $5 million Hurricane Ida. So those reimbursements are starting to come forth. Thank you, Ghassan.
thank you.
Miss Yolanda,
Yes, I just wanted to note for the record that Director Nichelle Taylor is here as well.
please.
And now we're ready for our committee reports. We have our first committee report will be given by Director Sloss.
Thank
Governance
you.
Committee.
I'm gonna have to ask you a question in the middle of my
Okay.
report. I'm here as a sub today, just so.
Right, so Dr. Plus wasn't
Miss-
able to attend, so if you can read the Governance Committee reports.
Yeah, the Governance Committee, without a chair, led by Dr. Plus and myself, we met January 17th and had a follow-up meeting on January 23rd, this past Monday.
Oh, and for that one.
Am I wrong already?
Yeah, no. That's for our internal meeting, but do you have the minutes for? Yeah.
I have the minutes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought that was, so the Governance Committee met on Tuesday, the 17th, in the boardroom. We discussed the board committee schedule, agreed to defer that to a board meeting when the members of the directors will have input on calendar changes that may or may not be necessary. We then went to executive session to discuss the director. We came out of executive session and we exited, and before we exited, we agreed to come back and meet on the 23rd, which was Monday. We ran over on time. We met again, and that time Dr. Duplessis was there, and she moved to put us into executive session, which we did again. We had discussion and some discussion with Executive Director Corbin, then came out of executive session, and that brings us to where we are today.
Yes. And now we'll have, I'm sorry, Mayor, we need a motion to
Yeah.
approve the
So
governance
thank
committee
you very
reports.
much for stepping in for Dr. Duplessis,
Happy to do it.
Vice Chair. And I need a motion to approve the governance report as presented by Director Sloss.
So moved.
We have a motion, Dr. Scholas,
Second.
seconded by Director Howard. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? All right, the committee report has been adopted. Ms. Yolanda.
Now we have our finance committee report by Director Sloss.
Finance Administration Committee met on Tuesday the 17th in the executive boardroom. We convened at about 10:45 a.m. Present were myself, Directors Howard, Guzman, Pescio, and Markowitz. We started with a cash flow overview from the CFO, Gray Lewis, and we are in strong financial, you can read this more closely if you like, strong financial position, 204 and 205 cash days on hand, which is excellent. We also received report on, we knew about the audit, but the audit was a clean audit last year. And when I think about when I came on the board, and Mayor, I think it was slightly before you, and the audit was, we found out in April, we're not going to have the audit in June of 18. And I look at what's happened till now, and we got to give big kudos to the finance people under Gray's leadership. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
In the same vein, our cash collections, and this is because of normal collections largely, have averaged $3 million a month more this year than they did the year before. You can all figure that's $36 million that we wouldn't have had the year before. We're very positive. The committee is very positive on the financial position of the board and the work being done by that group. We had 6 contract renewals, 1 contract change order, 3 contract amendments. We also discussed, which was mentioned here, in the new software that's going to go, our new accounting software. I'm not an accountant, but I can tell you, if you don't have good accounting software, you got a lot of trouble. You don't have to be one to do that. So that was it. We had the usual informational items. We had no public comment, and we adjourned at about 11:20. That's my
Very
report.
good.
Thank you.
Well, great work, Director Sloss. Need a motion to approve the Finance and Administrations Committee's report.
So moved.
Moved by Director Pescio, seconded by Director Barnes. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? All right, the report has been fully adopted. Ms. Yolanda.
Now we have the Operations Committee report by Director Howard.
Excuse me, before
Yes,
I have to leave. I have a Department of Public Works meeting. It starts at 10, so I'll be heading out.
Thank you so much
All right.
for
Thank you,
joining
Fred.
us. And while I know the councilman is leaving, I'll just use this as an opportunity to put it on the record, and I'll follow up with Mr. Superintendent. In our NORD-C meeting on Monday, it was just brought up about the pH levels in the Gergtown pool, and we wanted to follow up with you on that, if that's a board issue in terms of working with NORD on that.
I would definitely work with our water purification.
Okay.
The pool is normally internal on how they adjust the pH level in the swimming pool, but any info they may need from our water purification, we'll be happy to share with them.
Very good, thank you. Director Howard. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, the Operations Committee met on January 18th at 10:45. Present were Directors Howard, Duplessis, and Scholas. We had a couple discussion items. The first one was to take a look at the proposed 2023 Sewage and Water Board holiday and flexible holiday rule that had been brought up at the last board meeting. We collected it, we had asked for certain information on it to get a better understanding of it and received such information. I think there's no action item associated with it, but the sense of the committee was that what was proposed made sense. We then went on to kind of a year-end review of the 2022 strategic plan, looked at what were the various items we were supposed to have implemented during the year, and what was the progress, how do we stand vis-a-vis those. That was presented by Tyler Antrup. We also took a look at the 2023 strategic plan, the items that are supposed to be addressed in the course of that year. Had some requests for more KPIs, some discussion about contracts, and suggested forming a committee to look at how some of the contracts keep growing in size and to get a better understanding of what's going on there to make sure we're getting our best pricing. So anyway, there was no public comment. I am asking that we not adopt the minutes at this point because I was too busy yesterday to look at them.
Okay, no, that's fair, fair and honest, always coming from you, no
So I
doubt.
move we defer the minutes to next meeting.
Very good.
Thank you.
Second.
So we have a motion to defer.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Sorry.
Seconded by Director Sloss, all in favor? Okay, thank you. So that committee report will be deferred until the next meeting. Thank you, Director Howard. Ms. Yolanda.
We have the audit committee report that's going to be given by Dr. Scholas on behalf of Dr. Duplessis.
All right. The audit committee met on Wednesday, January 18th in the executive boardroom. The meeting was called to order at approximately 9:20. Present were Dr. Duplessis, Director Barnes, and myself. Also in attendance were Gassan Corbin, Yolanda Grinstetter, Special Counsel Gray Lewis, Chief Financial Officer Christy Orowski, Ron Spooner. Mr. Corbin started the meeting by introducing Edwin Sullivan, our new Chief Auditor Executive, which was presented here at this meeting, and he shared a few words of excitement. There was a presentation item by Ms. Brandy Smith from PNN, and gave an introduction to the 2021 final audit report, and she summarized the report. And then Dr. Duplessis expressed that she's excited about significant changes that are coming forward in collaboration with our CFO. I made a specific request about some safety protocols and a scorecard, and the meeting was adjourned at approximately 9:56 a.m.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dr. Scholas. So we have the audit committee report as presented. We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Director Howard, second by Director Pacho. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed, any abstentions? Ayes have it, the report has been adopted. Thank you, Director. And Dr. Scholas. Ms. Yolanda.
Yes, now we have our final committee report, Governance Committee, January 2023. Director Sloss, on behalf of Director Duplessis.
Which one am I giving now? Sorry.
Governance Committee, the January 2023 committee report. Oh, you did it?
He
Okay.
did that.
I did
Yeah, we
governance.
did that first.
Oh, you combined both of them. Okay, great.
I
Yeah,
did.
he did that first, and then
That was
he went
last.
forward. We
you.
adopted them
I'm a
separately as
volunteer here.
well.
Don't try and trick
Okay.
me out.
Agenda. So now we have the action items, Resolution R-19-2023, the 2023 Sewage and Water Board Committee schedule, and Resolution R-20-2023, the 2023 holiday schedule, which will be presented by Gassan.
Yeah,
Hassan?
thanks, Yolanda. And what you have in front of you, Madam Mayor and Board of Directors, is the schedule for all the committee meetings and the board meetings, and those dates reflect some feedback that Danielle had gained from, I think, all of you to accommodate schedules, what have you. So we feel that it's current, obviously subject to change as the year goes on. So with that, we're seeking approval of the schedule as presented.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Strategy seems to be completely missing, other than TBD.
Say it again.
Yeah.
The
There's a
strategy
microphone.
committee is strategy committee is completely missing, other than in the February TBD.
Yeah, because you have governance, finance, audit, okay.
And we're obligated for quarterly
Strategy,
meetings,
February,
right?
yeah.
All right,
I
so
don't
we'll
know
make
how we-
sure we reflect.
Can we approve?
For approval?
We'll defer, make sure it's
Yeah,
comprehensive, and then, go ahead.
I thought we were gonna take a look at this and get back, make sure that the directors work for them, for the committee chairs.
Right, so that's why I believe we need to
Defer.
we need to
Sorry.
Yeah.
And then also I'm making the committee assignments, I'm going through the committee assignments now. So I think just doing it comprehensively makes sense.
Good. I agree.
So I guess one action item is for Tanyal to seek feedback from individual committee chairs, and once they're all known, and then we'll formalize it once and for
And
all.
I think I provided feedback for February. It just has now disappeared from everywhere else.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure it's
Make sure
comprehensive.
it reflects all the required committee meetings specifically.
And I had the meeting yesterday with Dr. Duplessis relative to committee and committee assignments.
Okay, we'll defer it then.
So we'll need a motion to defer.
Do I need a
resolution.
motion to defer?
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Barnes,
Second.
seconded by Director Sloss. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, item has been deferred. Ms. Yolanda.
Now we're ready for Resolution 2023, the 2023 holiday schedule. Gassan?
Again, this resolution seeks approval from the board to adopt the scheduled holidays as presented. Primarily what we did is we adopted the city's holiday schedule with one deviation where we noted that New Year's Eve would be a working day, and then in order to provide the 14th day, we would provide the employees with a floating holiday that they can take on any day of their choosing to match any of their interests or beliefs. So the overall days will be 14, but this would allow the utility to remain open one additional day, that being the New Year's Eve day.
Very good.
The New Year's Eve, yeah, New Year's
Wednesday,
Eve
I'll
day.
choose New Year's Eve.
So we need a motion to adopt the holiday calendar as presented by the Executive Director for 2023.
So moved.
Moved by Director Pacho,
Second?
seconded by Director Dr. Scholas. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? All right, the holiday schedule has been adopted. Ms. Yolanda.
We now have
10, corresponding resolutions that may be taken in global. We just need a motion to approve the corresponding resolutions, Mayor.
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Dr. Scholas, seconded by Director Barnes. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, so the ayes have it. The resolutions have been adopted in globo. Ms. Yolanda.
So we have information items that may be reviewed by the board individually and on their own. And so now we are ready for executive session pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 4217A1 to discuss the executive director's evaluation, and pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 4217A2 to discuss 3 litigation matters.
Okay, very good. We need a motion to go into executive session. Moved by Director Howard,
Second?
seconded by Director Dr. Scholas. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it, and executive session.
Hey, Renee.
To come out of executive session. Moved by
Second.
Director Pacho, seconded by Director Barnes. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Hearing none, we are officially out of executive session. Director Sloss?
I would like to report on behalf of the Governance Committee that we have evaluated our Executive Director, Ghassan Corbin, and the Board of Directors has given him an excellent review. We also provided some suggestions of ways that the directors may help him out, and that's it. It's a great review, and he's done a great job. And
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Director Sloss, and thank you for your continued leadership, Ghassan. Just to think that coming in here, went through 4 different interims, only to find and land you for this utility, not just the Sewage and Water Board, but for the city of New Orleans. So we continue to support you, your leadership, and the advancement of this utility as a whole. Is there a need to adopt the evaluation? No, it's done. So thank you, board members, for all that you do, and the best is yet to come.
Yes, indeed.
All right, Ms. Yolanda.
Yes, and now we will need a motion to approve the special counsel's recommendations regarding, regarding Rahal, Leroy Edwards, and Roland Sierra.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yolanda. I need a motion to approve the adoptance of how we will resolve these litigation matters as presented to the board. So with that, we can do them in globo in reference to the 3 individuals mentioned by our executive council. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Director Howard, second by Director Sloss. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, the motions have been approved. Thank you very much.
And we have no public comment, Mayor, so we are now ready for adjournment.
Very good.
move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, ayes have it, meeting adjourned. Thank you all so much again.
Thank you.